Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
With the new Valley Line LRT opening up Saturday, what does it mean for the city's transit?
Really encourage people to get out and use it if they have the opportunity. If that's a line that will serve them in their travels, then they should give it a try.
The lack of donations to the Edmonton Food Bank is causing worry in the community.
See over my shoulder, this is our sorting area here, and then behind me is our storage area for the sorting, and you can see on our shelves, they're pretty much bare.
And what you need to know about the exciting announcement regarding the growth of dual credit programs in Alberta.
You could name the occupation and we're probably short on workers in that area.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. Welcome to NAIT NewsWatch. First up, a recent investment from the Alberta government that boosts and expands the dual credit program.
That's right. The program helps students transition from high school to post-secondary. Our Leo Cruzat joins us live at the NAIT hallway to tell us more about the recent investment.
Thanks, guys. The dual credit program has been around in Alberta for more than 5 years now. And now, because this is going to help students to get desired career programs by earning both secondary and post-secondary programs. And with the recent investment of Alberta Education, students will experience improvement as well as new program this year. BevFAC in Sherwood Park is one of the schools that offers dual credit programs ranging from welding, culinary arts, and to carpentry. And with the recent $3.6 million investment from the province, students will see more improvement as well as new program this year.
That investment will allow our students to have more machinery, more up-to-date machinery, and better tooling, which is more closer to industry standard, which, frankly, if we want them to be prepared for industry, it's what we require.
Alberta Education is distributing up to $50,000 startup grants for 45 divisions, while 16 divisions are able to access up to $100,000 enhancement grant. According to Minister of Education, their goal is to help students to have better understanding of different career opportunities that are available and make them move to their education as fast as they can.
There's a huge demand for careers and for workers in a wide range of fields. You could name the occupation and we're probably short on workers in that area.
While there are some advantages for students that take dual credit program, Minister Dimitriou stated that it will not affect students that still chooses the traditional path toward their desired post-secondary program.
It may not be something for every student. The desire is to create that option and that availability and expand it and make sure that it is available for more students.
Mr. Dimitriou also added that the enhancement grants and the startup grants are up to school division's decision, and any unused funds within this year can carry over for the next year.
So, Leo, is the dual credit program only within the partnership between post-secondary and high school divisions?
Technically, there is two branches. One is going to be dual enroll, where within the partnership of post-secondary and the school division. Now, this post-secondary institution will provide the courses and the instructor. For example, BevFAC will have their startup program of healthcare aid with a partnership of Norquest. So, which means Norquest will actually going to provide the instructor and the courses for grade 10 to 12 students. There will be dual enrolled as well, which means, single enrolled, which means that they are not going to partner with post-secondary institution because they have their own, and they will provide their own certified journeyman, and that will apply for a dual credit program. Another example is the BevFAC's welding, automotive, and culinary. They have their own journeyman, and they are actually certified to teach and to train students to get that dual credit program, so they don't need to hire someone from post-secondary institution.
The Alberta government recently invested a lot in education. There's one for increased seating capacity for international nurses, and now they're expanding a lot in the dual credit program. So what made Alberta decide to invest in education?
Well, the main reason is going to be the booming population of Alberta. Government will expect to build more communities, more building, hospitals, establishment, and infrastructure. And if they don't have enough workforce to meet those demands, they're going to have a hard time to respond for the growth of population in the province.
Thank you so much, Leo, for the information. That's Leo Cruz live at the NAIT hallways.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
Men's health issues can be a very touchy subject, as many men do not have the courage to open up about ongoing problems. Every year, Movember comes around to change and shape the way people fight the battle. Rob at Rob's Barbershop has had many people coming in to get prepared for Movember. The Movember campaign is a fundraiser that raises money every November in the fight against all men's health issues. Men can choose to participate by growing a mustache, walking or running miles, or participating in any physical activities. Dave Sawchuk has been participating in November for a while now and wants everyone to be involved.
Education about men's health and mental health. These programs don't come out of nowhere, right? We need money to do these things. So great for people to talk about it and get engaged. If you can take that one extra step and raise some dollars, that's the big stuff.
Visit Movember.com to kickstart your campaign or donate to someone else's campaign. Movember runs the whole month of November.
After several years of delays, the Valley Line Southeast, a 13-kilometer LRT section that connects Millwoods to downtown, will finally be opening its services to the public starting tomorrow morning. The new line will feature 11 ground-level stops as well as an interchange point at Churchill Square to access the existing Metro and Capital LRT lines. However, the line will have no crossing arms, gates, or bells at intersections. The project has been underway since 2011 and has a capital cost of $1.8 billion.
It allows us to provide that premium transit experience and service to Southeast Edmonton. That's been a promise and a pledge that the City of Edmonton has made to that community for a number of years. So it allows us to realize that commitment.
To catch a ride on the sweet new line, service will begin at 5:15 a.m. tomorrow at the Millwood stop and at the 102nd Street stop downtown.
The Edmonton Food Bank is in dire need of donations now, coming up on the winter and Christmas season. As we approach the colder season in Edmonton, the food bank is looking for everyone to bring in as many non-perishable food items as possible to support the people in need in our city. The food bank says the shelves are not as full as they should be and are needing so much more support than recent years.
With the demand uptick, we currently run a deficit. We're sending more food out than we're getting it. Ultimately, what that means is we're purchasing more food, so it costs us more as an organization to provide the services we provide.
NAIT Food Bank still has the stores open as well and are hosting their own food drive next Wednesday to try to add flavor to the lives of those in need, one donation at a time.
This Saturday, dozens of people gathered at City Hall to commemorate the 4th annual Walk a Mile in a Ribbon Skirt Day in Edmonton. From dance and music performances, moving speeches, and a proclamation declaring Walk a Mile in Ribbon Skirt Day, the event commemorates the significance of ribbon skirts as a symbol of resilience, feminism, and strength among Indigenous cultures. The goal of this event is to help people understand and learn about the discrimination and prejudices Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit people face when wearing ribbon skirts in public spaces.
Events like this are really important because it does help our women become empowered and to practice and share their identity and who they are. It's an opportunity for non-Indigenous people to learn about our practices and therefore become good allies.
The event was concluded with bearing the colds to walk a mile in ribbon skirts to show solidarity, support, and recognition of Indigenous women. Coming up after the break, the women's Ooks hockey team is starting their season strong.
And we take a look at the question of the week and how the new Valley Line could be affecting NAIT students.
In the world of sports coming up, we take a look at your NAIT Ooks women's hockey team as well as the men's soccer team who just made a run to the gold medal game and a tennis tournament in Edmonton. All that and more on NAIT NewsWatch coming up.
Well, NAIT NewsWatch, it is official. Leaves have fallen off the trees and Mariah Carey is defrosting as we speak. along that comes a little bit something we don't all love to hear about, and that is the snow. I'm Karis Jorgensen with your weather forecast coming up next.
Woo, I feel like the weather has been a little all over the place lately.
I agree, Brandon. I'm not sure if I'll be waking up to snow or sun. Let's talk to Karis and see what we can expect for the weekend.
Thank you so much, you guys. So yeah, weather has been all over the place here in Edmonton, but honestly, I don't think that's much of a surprise. Now, this weekend, it is so important to remember that Sunday, our clocks are falling back an hour, which is wonderful, but we are going to be jumping right back into that winter weather. Let's take a look at Calgary. So you're going to have a high of 3 and a low of -2. Now, you can expect flurries on Sunday, but don't worry about it Saturday. Going over to Jasper, you have a high of 6 and a low of -3. With a little bit of snow on both days, which is just wonderful for you skiers and snowboarders out there. Now in Fort Mac, you're going to be looking at a high of -2, which isn't wonderful, and a low of -6. Again, a little bit colder up there, and you do have some flurries coming in on Sunday. Moving on to Edmonton, we're going to be a little bit warmer. We have a high of 2 and a low of -4, and flurries just on Sunday, so nothing to worry about come Sunday or Saturday. And then moving on to our averages, we have an average 4 and 4, which is odd. Angel numbers if you want to. And then for our records, we have a high of 20 in 2016 and a low of -24 back in 1919. So again, don't forget to change those clocks back an hour and gear up for that colder weather. I'm Karis Jorgensen with your NAIT NewsWatch weather.
NewsWatch Weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
Brandon, we talked earlier about the Valley Line LRT opening. Isn't that what the question of the week is about?
Absolutely, Woo. This week's question of the week, we asked NAIT students with the Valley Line LRT opening up, will this impact your use of the LRT to school and overall travel?
It doesn't actually. I take a bus straight to. It's about a 7-minute drive, so I'm pretty lucky with that. But I have heard about it, and my sister was rejoicing, so.
Well, for me, it's a little bit half and half and all that, because sometimes I take a bus, but sometimes I ride my bike, and when the LRT comes through, it's just annoying and all of that. So, and I can't jump over the train, so that's why I leave.
Not at all. I'm in Short Park.
It will greatly improve it, I think, because I live right near it, like walking distance, so it'll be great.
Well, I'm still not sure because it does stop at red lights and everything, but I'm hoping it'll make it a lot shorter and convenient, because right now it's an hour and a half to get here.
In the world of sports, the women's Ooks hockey team is heating up on the ice as they ride through an impressive win streak.
But first, we check into the men's soccer provincials tournament with NAIT making an exciting run to finals. Our Landon Hickok has more from our end zone.
Thanks, guys. After impressive wins over Lethbridge College and SAIT, the men's Ooks soccer team made an exciting run to the ACAC gold medal game last weekend, with a shot to win it all against Keanu College.
What a run. There's number 6, Jivan Olak. Great save, puts that in the back of the net.
The game began strong for NAIT as they pitted 2 early goals to take a solid lead into the half. However, despite strong defensive play, the Keanu Huskies were able to tie the game late and take it to penalties. Eventually, the Huskies would prevail, taking the gold and cementing their place in nationals. Despite the loss, the Ooks feel they have the pieces to make another run.
The coaching staff is truly critical to our success, I believe. We're going to be losing a couple key players, but we're also expecting some new young talent to come in, and I think that we'll be able to have another good run for the coming season.
Despite the loss, players feel a sense of pride and confidence in their group, enough to win gold the next try. The NAIT Ooks women's hockey team have been on a hot streak so far this season. Tied for first in the league with a 7-1 record, there's no signs that they'll be slowing down anytime soon. This past weekend, the Ooks played a doubleheader against the Olds College Broncos, winning both matches 4-1 and 6-0. Multiple Ooks players lead the league in points as well as in goaltending. For the rest of the season, players say accountability is crucial to maintain their current success.
We really strive to just push each other and make sure that that stays continuous throughout everything we do. going after pucks, going into battles, just being relentless whenever, wherever we can.
The next home game for the Ooks is this Saturday at 6 p.m. against the Red Deer Polytechnic Queens. An international tennis tournament is taking place this week in Edmonton. This is the 6th stop on the National Bank Challenger Tour, along with tournaments in Winnipeg, Granby, Saguenay, Calgary, and Drummondville. Our Fernando Rocha has more on this story.
Edmonton is proud to host a tennis tournament once again. Held from October 29th to this Sunday at the Royal Glenora Club, the Edmonton National Bank Challenger is the first combined event for men and women in the city. It's the 6th stop on the national tour.
Actually, we were really excited. We found out some of the players that entered the tournament, and we were really excited because there's a lot of up-and-coming Division I level athletes that are playing, up-and-coming juniors, as well as players with Grand Slam experience. So some of the players that are playing in this tournament, we're going to see them playing Grand Slam tournaments. We're going to see them on TV in a couple of years' time.
The tournament offers $25,000 in prize money for both men and women. As happens in significant events, volunteers' contribution and the community is celebrated.
So the members are very, very excited, and so is the whole tennis community really in all of Edmonton. And the volunteers have come out of the woodwork. We've had no problem getting volunteers. It's been just fantastic.
This is our very first international tennis tournament at this level, and we would love to hopefully have it so successful and so amazing this year and keep offering it and running it each year if possible.
And guess what? This Saturday, as part of this tournament, there will be a day entirely dedicated to the kids. It's free, and you can watch the semifinals from the VIP area. For Hands On Sports, I'm Fernanda Rocha.
It's really exciting to watch the women's hockey team right now. I've been to plenty of games myself, and you can tell this team is ready for a championship.
And I know the men's team is not far off either. They beat some really great teams to get all the way to the finals.
I think it's super cool to see a co-ed tournament with both men and women and people of all genders. Thanks so much, Landon.
Coming up after the break, we hear all about what the Rutherford House is doing for Remembrance Day.
And the art behind glass blowing and how it's done.
You're taking molten glass. So glass that's a little bit hotter than lava, and you're turning it into different forms and shapes.
Huh, what is a house this big doing here in the middle of a campus? Well, this is the Rutherford's house, and for Remembrance Day, they decided to do a special celebration. All that and more for entertainment. I'm Tristan Mathers for NAIT NewsWatch.
NAIT 2023 team jackets are brought to you by Refined RX Medical Aesthetics and Invincible Team Financial Group.
With the winter air coming in any day now, what's a better way to stay warm than playing with molten lava?
In this week's Try This segment, our Alyssa Conti shows us the art of glass blowing and what it takes to get into such a niche hobby.
This glowing, yummy-looking pile of goo is actually molten glass.
You're taking molten glass. So glass that's a little bit hotter than lava, and you're turning it into different forms and shapes.
Glass blowing is a form of handwork where the glass worker shapes molten glass using a blowpipe. Now, what surprised me the most while watching the process was how collaborative it had to be. Operating at 1,140 degrees Celsius, a glass blower and their assistant must constantly call out to each other to ensure the perfect work.
Normally you work with your assistant for a while. You get used to how each other moves, how each other communicates.
Molten glass needs to be reheated between 30 to 40 seconds, and sometimes even quicker, so it's important to be efficient during the process.
Glass blowing, you have to be very present. So you're like reheating and working on it for a couple seconds, and reheating and working on it for a couple seconds.
Compared to other handcraft work such as woodworking or blacksmithing, glass is extremely flexible and you can mold it into a variety of shapes, sizes, colors, you name it. Now, a piece like this bowl, or maybe this rose, these things take a little bit more skill and they're a bit more advanced, but if you wanted to try a beginner products such as this bird, or maybe this Christmas ornament for the upcoming holiday season, you can try out one of the beginner classes around Edmonton, such as here at Suspended Studio and south side of Edmonton. That was all from me, Alyssa Conti, for NAIT NewsWatch.
With all the tragedies we face currently today, it's important that we also don't forget ones in the past.
That's right. Our Tristan Mathers brings us more about the Rutherford House Special Remembrance Day event.
Thanks, guys. For those that don't know, the Rutherford House is a provincial historic site that can be found on the U of A campus. It's the house of Alexander Rutherford, who was the first Premier of Alberta and the founder of the U of A. The tour is about the 100-year-old home of Alexander Rutherford. You can learn about the history of his house design and how he became to be. The house is hosting a special event to contribute to Remembrance Day.
We celebrate Remembrance Day. We always celebrate it the week before the actual day so that we can allow that day to have its own, honor and place of importance. What we do is we celebrate the contributions of the family and involvement with the Great War.
At the celebration, you will be able to try the food that the soldiers would have made for themselves at the front. The celebration takes place Sunday, November 5th, starting at noon. Attention all literature lovers and bookworms. An event filled with captivating discussions and a diverse lineup of award-winning authors is finally here. After a year of anticipation, the annual Starfest is back like never before. Our Owette McGock shows us more on that.
Latest son. He was born in January.
The award-winning St. Albert Readers Festival's annual Starfest is back. This event has been organized by the St. Albert Public Library since 2011. It brings readers and renowned authors together for thought-provoking discussions. A diverse lineup of award-winning, best-selling authors and up-and-coming literature voices are featured at Starfest every October.
There's a really strong community of readers in St. Albert that are really excited about literature, and they just really love the events.
Meet Wabgishik Rice. He is an Anishinaabe writer and journalist from Wasauksing First Nations in Ontario. Rice has received recognition for his work around the country, including being named as some of the Indigenous novelists reshaping North American science fiction, horror, and fantasy by the New York Times.
I feel really fortunate to be able to contribute to that growing body of work. But, the publishing industry has traditionally been like many other industries. There's systemic racism that involves, there's, an underrepresentation of people of color especially. So when there's that lack of proper representation within the actual structure of the industry itself, of course there are going to be roadblocks that people like me naturally come up against.
At the event this year, there were several other authors in the Starfest lineup. This year's dates ran as early as September 24th to November 1st.
Literature has this incredible power to make us forget about our realities and immerse ourselves into someone else's story. It's like a vacation for the mind, but the best part about it, there's no TSA lines or baggage fees. Be on the lookout for next year's Starfest, where book lovers and authors come together to unite and celebrate the written word. For NAIT NewsWatch, I'm Owette McGock.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but Canadian history actually seems a lot more interesting now after the Rutherford House.
Yeah, I definitely got to go check that out.
I find it interesting too, but personally, I think I'll be headed to Starfest. Thanks, Tristan.
That's all for this week on NAIT NewsWatch, and we hope you're all caught up for your local sports and news.
Join us next week for a special edition of NewsWatch as we look at how the industry we're training for is evolving. Rejoin us for our regular NewsWatch on November 17th for the best up-to-date campus news, sports, and entertainment. Until then, have a great weekend and don't forget to turn your clocks back. Good night.